Hi there, and welcome to part three. My apologies for part two getting cut short, but actually that will probably be quite helpful because you would have had time to go and have a look at the space race, and this video would not have been, or the second video actually is therefore not too long, whereas this one may be a bit longer, but you're finally going to see some live modeling of how to do your question one, the how do you know question. But before we move on, again, the guidelines, I'm going to you rush through these, but they are all very important and they'll maximize your ability to learn here. Just want to do a very quick quiz to start off with. I'm going to give you 1 minute, just 4 questions about the space race, which you should know. They're quite basic. I'm going to give you 1 minute starting now. Okay, so hopefully we got these right. Sputnik, USSR, 4th of October 1957. You can probably get away with just the year and month, but it looks good with the actual day. And the two reasons, which you should have actually grasped from the video or your own notes, your propaganda, okay, in the sense that each country wants to be looking as, each country wants to look superior compared to the other one and to win over the world. And secondly, the weapons development. So if you remember the fact that the space race is linked to the arms race, certainly America are concerned about rockets being used in space. So let's move back on to what we were looking at in the last video. Here is our source and the question which accompanies it. So I'm going to switch to the visualizer, and I'm going to go through how I'd answer it. And I may switch back and forth so you can see it more clearly as well. So I think to start with, I'm just going to write an answer that just looks at the content of the actual source. So I said this before in the previous video, but I can see firstly we've got a tool or a standing tool spaceman who's from the Soviet Union. How do I know he's from the Soviet Union? Well, he's holding the hammer and sickle, which are the symbols of your communism. And I've got to think about why this is therefore supporting the Soviet Union. Well, we know that this actually links into the space race, and we've got that as well from the 4 stars which are representing the 4 Sputnik flights. So that's what I processed very quickly about the content, but again, I've not really gone into the provenance. I'm just going to write the first paragraph now on the content. Now, I think always start off, or always you help yourself by making sure you use some of the language in the source. In the source question. So I'd start with, okay, the same wording. I'd say the source supports, help if I could have the whole thing in short, supports the Soviet Union. Why? Well, as I said before, I think the visual of the spaceman looks heroic, so I'm going to write that. The source supports the Soviet Union because the visual is a heroic Soviet spaceman. Full stop. So that is what you call a simple but point sentence. Okay, I've referenced the fact that it is a spaceman and that it's heroic, but I've got to really, I suppose, sort of justify that. So here it is. His pose is, thinking of another word like heroic. I'm going to go for triumphant. So he's triumphant while he is holding a hammer and sickle above. Of communism. Okay, so I've added in a bit of detail there, and that's really important so that I'm showing that my answer is actually but developed. Okay, I've gone from the heroic, well, here's my justification. We've got the fact that the pose is triumphant and he's holding the hammer and sickle above the symbols of your communism. And I'm going to add the point about the stars, actually, which a lot of people may not have spotted, but you can be as specific and as granular as possible when you analyze the content. It looks really good for the examiner. Okay. So the 4 stars above represent the 4 Sputnik lights. So I've got 2 bits of evidence of the vision. So now just to kind of sum it up to actually show that I have answered the questions to remind them. All of this shows support for the Soviet Union winning the space race. Now, in hindsight, I probably could have put, or should have put, the space race point earlier, because that's what it is about, but it's fine putting it at the end. I think you'll see there you've got 4 sentences, just 1 paragraph, and that would be what you call a developed explanation because of the analysis you've got in there. So I'll just pause it there while you give it a read through, and then we'll have a look at the answer if we're doing it on provenance. Okay, now remember, you don't need to do both your content, and provenance, and I think in a future video I'll show how you integrate both of them. Just for the purpose of this video, just going to do them separately. So I've done the content now. In terms of the provenance, I'm just going to remind us of how it looks again because we haven't seen it in a while. So we've got A poster entitled "Glory to the Soviet People, the Pioneer of Space," published in the USSR in 1958. Now, I'm just going to remind you of the ones that I focused before. So the fact we've got a poster from the USSR should actually make you think back to the fact that this is a propaganda piece. And we know that as well because of the caption, or what's titled. Not even the whole thing, just the two words, I would say, glory and pioneer. I mean, these are very positive, or what we'd call supportive words. Now, the final thing to focus on, which I think is really important, and this is where people often go wrong, they don't know what the date links to. This is 1958, which, as you said, is just 1 year after Sputnik. Okay, so you can kind of see the fact that they're celebrating, and they're celebrating for the Soviet people. So let's now put that into a actually answer. I'm just going to move this up a bit now. Okay, so I'm going to try to write a better one this time. So let's go for right. So I've just gone for a slightly more direct answer, but that's actually not wrong. The source supports the USSR winning the space race. I've obviously got to now justify it. The fact that it's a propaganda from Soviet Union shows this. It was made 1 year after Sputnik was successfully launched. Okay, that's fine. I've mentioned Sputnik. It was successfully launched. I've then got to, I think, show just how it is supporting the Soviet Union further. You can do that by bringing in the words from the source. So this links to the glory and pioneer words used to beating USA in the competition for space development. I've just done that because it's a different way of saying space race. But again, you've got a similar style to the first one, one short sentence, but you can see that I've actually just focused on the provenance. I've got the fact it's a propaganda poster. I've mentioned, to my own knowledge, 1 year after Sputnik. Perhaps I could have explained what Sputnik was, but I'd also think I've referenced the words glory and pioneer, showing that the USSR are beating because they're glorious over someone else. Pioneer being the sort of first person, but to be doing something. So that would be, again, a yes, strong answer. Okay, so that's how you analyze your question one. In the future, I'm going to do some other worked examples. I'll do a written source so you can see how to do that. Thank you for watching.